In today's exercise, they have asked us to add a formula that introduces or gives us the number of students who have passed the test. It must be a list. What it is telling us ultimately is that here in the cell I-28 at the end of the list of qualifications, we should introduce the number of students who have passed. Therefore, what we want is for Excel to tell us how many of those are there. Out of the total of the students. Logically, this has to be an automatic procedure. So here we have 20 students, and even though it would be very easy to count them manually, that is not the real goal of the exercise, especially because in Excel we could be working with huge amounts of data, and with thousands and thousands of rows. Logically, there has to be an automatic procedure for doing this, and said procedure is just a simple function. Here, we have to introduce the result of the statistical function that counts the cells in a given range that matches the given condition. What is the condition we are talking about? Well, the condition in this case is those students who have passed. And now once we click here, we see that Excel is asking us for some things. More specifically, we now see that it wants us to input the two parts that create the condition. The first part is about the range in which the condition applies, which basically is the range of the qualifications. From I-4 to I-24. And secondly, it is asking us for the criteria it has to use in order to know whether to count the contents of each one of these cells or not. Let's type past here. So Excel will now be counting how many times this word appears in this data range. We click on Accept and we see that in this case there are 16 past students. Logically, as it is obvious, this has to be a consistent sheet. That is, if we, for some reason, have reviewed a grade and we realize that a specific grade is not correct, for example, this 3 we have right here. It might not be a 3, maybe we should have put a 5 instead. Otherwise, this student would fail. This other grade, for example, turns out that wasn't a 2 either, it was a 7 instead. Even though it is rare for so many marks to change, things like this can happen regardless. And we will notice that because our spreadsheet is consistent and automatic, whenever we change some data like we just did, the total average also changes. Automatically, the qualification average changes, and we see a 17 here now. This is why we must always take the precaution of building the spreadsheet using the functions and using the operations consistently and correctly. Because if we do so, it will be very easy to work with our spreadsheet under different assumptions. It is also especially useful to review data or make changes later on. This way, all the statistical data of the final results will be consistent with the inputted information. I hope you have all find this video useful. See you in the next Excel lesson.